Welcome to the Lost in History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one.
A protest against the use of bra in San Francisco, United States, on August 1, 1969. The image shows women gathered holding signs and demonstrating in support of the feminist movement, which challenged dress codes and traditional gender roles. It was taken at Los Angeles International Airport in the United States in 1985. The image shows the airport boarding gates, with passengers waiting for their flights and staff assisting travelers. At the time, the airport was already one of the busiest in the world, serving millions of passengers each year. Betty Brosmer, model and bodybuilding promoter, during her modeling career around the 1950s. The image highlights her extremely small waist, which measured about 18 inches, a figure considered almost impossible. Stephen Hawking, British theoretical physicist, and his wife Jane Hawking on their wedding day, July 14, 1965, in Cambridge, England. In the image, the couple appears dressed in wedding attire, smiling at the camera. Minsk, Belarus, Soviet Union, in the 1980s. The image shows a group of people with hairstyles and haircuts popular during that period, reflecting Soviet fashion trends. Among the styles, it is possible to notice voluminous hair, sharp bangs, and asymmetrical cuts, which were common among urban young people. Gertrude Ederle, the first woman to swim across the English Channel, in the United States on August 26, 1926. She completed the crossing in 14 hours and 31 minutes. The image shows her wearing a bathing suit typical of the period, possibly shortly after arriving on the French coast. Spain, in 1957. The image shows a father and his son crying as they say goodbye to relatives boarding a ship bound for Buenos Aires, Argentina, in search of a better life. This period was marked by economic hardship in Spain after the Civil War and during the rule of Francisco Franco. Beijing, China, in 1975. The image shows Mao Zedong, leader of China, meeting with George H.W. Bush, who later became President of the United States. In the background, Henry Kissinger, then United States Secretary of State, can be seen. Wolfsburg, Germany, in 1938. The image shows the launch of the Volkswagen Beetle, a popular car that would become known around the world. The vehicle can be seen on display at a presentation event, with people observing it and factory workers nearby. 1955. During the filming of the movie The 7-Year Itch in the United States, the image shows Marilyn Monroe greeting a teenage girl who came to visit her in her trailer on the film set. Buenos Aires, Argentina, in 1969. The image shows people gathered outside an appliance store, watching the broadcast of the moon landing. The historic event took place on July 20, 1969, when Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reached the lunar surface. Corpus Christi, Texas, United States, in 1938. The image shows the small cabin of a First World War veteran overlooking Nueces Bay. The veteran lived in simple conditions after the war, and the photograph captures both the home and the surrounding landscape. Chicago, United States, in 1929. The image shows a mail carrier posing with his large load of Christmas letters and packages. Stacks of mail and parcels can be seen, reflecting the increase in deliveries during the holiday season. 1981, and shows Hans Zimmer, German composer, beside a Moog synthesizer. The image captures Zimmer working with the instrument, which was widely used to create electronic sounds in music and film scores. United States in July 1941. The image shows demonstrators taking part in an anti-war protest. The people are carrying signs and banners with pacifist messages, gathered in a street or public square. United States in the 1950s. The image shows a person working as a lipstick tester, a job that involved evaluating the durability and color intensity of cosmetic products before they were sold to the public. A concrete truck that overturned near Wincanon, Oklahoma, United States, in 1971. The truck was too heavy to be removed and was therefore left at the site. Over time, local residents repainted the vehicle so that it looked like a NASA space capsule. Cuba, around 1960. The image shows Fidel Castro, leader of the Cuban Revolution, playing basketball. He is dressed in sportswear and actively participating in the game. At the time, Castro was the main political leader of Cuba, and activities like this were photographed to show aspects of his personal life and interest in sports. 1977, and shows United States President Jimmy Carter meeting with Nigerian leader Olusegun Obasanjo. The image captures a diplomatic meeting between the two leaders, discussing bilateral relations and political and economic cooperation between the countries. 1937, and shows Benito Mussolini, leader of Italy, holding the Sword of Islam, a ceremonial weapon presented to him after he was proclaimed protector of Islam. The ceremony took place during an official visit to Libya, which at the time was under Italian colonial rule. In 1968, the image shows United States President Lyndon B. Johnson listening to a recording sent by Captain Chuck Robb, his son-in-law, who was serving in Vietnam. In the image, Johnson appears focused while listening to the audio message during the Vietnam War. 1971, and shows Carrie Fisher, American actress and writer, during a trip through Europe. In the image, she appears in casual clothing, carrying luggage and walking through an urban setting. At the time, Fisher had not yet achieved major fame through the Star Wars franchise, which would begin in 1977. Kansas City, Missouri, United States, in 1961. The image shows a group of young women from France and Germany taking part in a class at the Trans World Airlines flight attendant school. 1899, and shows Annie Oakley, famous American sharpshooter, aiming at a target using a hand mirror. She was known for her extraordinary skill in hitting targets with precision, even from behind her back. 1904, and shows the pyramids of Egypt viewed from a hot air balloon. The image offers an aerial perspective of the ancient structures, including the Great Pyramid of Giza, surrounded by the desert. Republic of the Congo, around the 1960s, Dutch CIA. The image shows people participating in Christmas activities, including decorating spaces, community gatherings, and celebrations with children and families. February 1945, during the Yalta Conference in Crimea, Soviet Union. Show. The image shows interpreter Pavlov. At the moment he translates a joke told by Winston Churchill to Joseph Stalin. The conference brought together the leaders of the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union. 1066, in Nashville, United States. The image shows Colonel Harlan Sanders, founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, during the opening of a new restaurant near Fort Campbell. 1975, in Madrid, Spain. The image shows United States President Gerald Ford meeting with Spanish dictator Francisco Franco. The meeting took place during a diplomatic visit, with bilateral relations and political matters between the two countries being discussed. 1938. In Shanghai, China. The image shows a merchant being pushed in a handcart through a city street. At the time, Shanghai was facing economic and social difficulties because of the Japanese invasion that began in 1937, and scenes of improvised transportation and street trade were common. United States in the 1940s. The image shows a child picking cotton in an agricultural field. At the time, many families worked in farming, especially in the southern United States, and children often helped in the field. Portland, Oregon, United States, in 1938. The image shows children posing in front of the largest log cabin in the world, built in 1905. The cabin was a tourist attraction and an example of massive timber construction. 1969 in Vilnius, Lithuania, then part of the Lithuanian Soviet Socialist Republic. Soviet Union. The image shows young parents caring for their children, possibly playing or carrying out daily tasks. Robert Wadlow was 13 years old, around 1931, in the United States. The image shows Robert Wadlow, who would become the tallest man ever recorded at 8 feet 2 inches, standing beside his father, who was 5 feet 11 inches tall. November 3rd, 1983, at the White House, United States. The image shows young Paris Hilton visiting Nancy Reagan, the First Lady of the United States at the time. Paris Hilton appears accompanied by family members or representatives, greeting Nancy Reagan in a formal meeting. A busy street in Kabul, Afghanistan, in 1979, showing an urban stretch filled with merchants and pedestrians moving among traditional shops. The scene highlights the presence of local markets, where handmade goods, colorful fabrics, and typical foods were offered each day. A scene recorded in Kautokeino, Norway, around the 1910s, showing a Sami man wearing dark glasses while holding the reins of his white reindeer in an open field. 1900, showing a woman using one of the earliest models of the telephone inside a well-lit room. The moment highlights the curiosity and interest that new technologies sparked among people at the time, since the telephone was still a novelty in many places. London, United Kingdom, during the 1930s, showing a commercial structure known as a baby cage, installed outside a window so that young children could remain outdoors safely. Arizona, United States, in 1914, showing a visitor beside his automobile parked near the safe observation edge of the Grand Canyon. The scene reflects the excitement of travelers exploring broad natural landscapes during the early 20th century, a period when automobile trips were becoming more common. 1936, photographed by Dorothea Lange, showing a vehicle adapted by pea pickers to serve as a mobile home during work-related travel. The image highlights the creativity involved in building the automobile, which received an added structure made of wood and other available materials, forming a small protected living space. Texas, United States, in 1907, showing a small school made up of only one room used to teach children from the local community. The moment highlights the simple environment, where desks, chalkboards, and basic materials were arranged to serve students of different ages in a single space. Arizona, United States, in 1908, showing a photographer and his assistant preparing a large camera to capture an image of the Grand Canyon. The moment highlights the care required to adjust the equipment, which demanded precision and time to achieve the best possible framing. 1905, showing Mark Twain sitting calmly on the porch of a house in New Hampshire, United States, while enjoying a moment of rest outdoors. The scene highlights the presence of a comfortable chair and the peaceful posture of the author, known for works that left a mark on the literature of his time. 1914, showing the Panama Canal completed and in full operation, connecting the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean through an extensive passage system built to facilitate maritime transport. Paris, France, in 1939, showing Lisa von Sagrives posing on the Eiffel Tower during a photo shoot for Vogue magazine. The scene highlights the model carefully positioned on the metal structure, conveying elegance through a firm posture and clothing that represented the style of that era. Amiens, France, on March 28, 1918, showing a woman seated on a bench beside her cow after leaving a region going through intense historical change. New York, United States, in January 1910, showing a streetcar moving slowly through snow-covered streets while residents observe the landscape transformed by the severe weather. Los Angeles, United States, during the 1920s, showing an aerial view of the Hollywood Bowl, the famous outdoor venue dedicated to cultural performances. The image highlights the stage located at the lower part of the grounds, recognized for its semicircular shape that helped project sound to the audience. Golden Gate Park, California, in 1920, showing a group of friends camping beside a parked Briscoe sedan in an open area of the park. The scene highlights the relaxed mood of the group, who arranged the campsite with basic supplies while enjoying the tree-filled setting for rest and companionship.